Hi guys, and today I want to discuss a very important component of the car with you, namely the brake disc. Something that you don't notice how important it is until it doesn't work, or in our case, until it cracks. A small background for people who are not familiar with our company or our YouTube channel. We are Apex Nürburgring and we specialize in track rentals on the world's most demanding and most awesome racetrack, namely the Nürburgring, in particular Nürburgring Nordschleife. Just a small summary, Nordschleife is not that hard on the brake components, unlike the GP tracks, and most of the world run on the GP tracks. So if you are track enthusiast but are not running on Nordschleife, make sure to stay tuned because this video may mean a lot to you. And also to us, because the brakes and tires are cost drivers, especially in our business when our cars are doing this many kilometers on a track, literally thousands and thousands of laps per year. So far, this brief introduction regarding the problem of our subject of today's video, the brake discs, or actually brake disc fatigue. But the more technical aspect of this problem will be explained by our mechanic Tim, who is already preparing the operation for today.
So one of our goals for the off-season was to sort of increase not only brake performance, but also to reduce our costs in terms of, keeping the cars on track for as many kilometres as we do. Like you say, we've had the few brake fatigues through the year. But we're looking at using a different solution, first of all on the Polo to test it, and then hopefully we can lay that out across the rest of the cars as StopTech, and also we've got another supplier with Geodesk, supplied by Advanced Performance Parts.
You already unpacked the disc, so what are your first thoughts on it? So
first impressions are good because we've got a coated surface which isn't affected by the braking friction material, so it just basically stops it from rusting. We'll see how that lasts. I do see this sometimes sort of flake off as it gets hot. But if you look at the disc itself, obviously it's grooved, which is nice. We don't want a drilled disc. That sort of promotes cracking, which is obviously what we want to avoid. And then if you look at the specifications of the disc, obviously it matches OEM in terms of diameter and thickness, but it's got a much higher carbon content, which should help with the heat cycles. Because that's essentially what's causing the cracking. It's as the disc comes up to temperature and then quickly drops, then back up to temperature and dropping again. And because we've got rental customers, different drivers, in and out of the car all the time, and that's what we're trying to reduce, basically.
Yeah. So far the disc, I also see you have a couple of other components, namely the braking fluid. A lot of people actually underestimate the importance of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most important things. Like if you change your brake, if you go for high performance brake fluid straight away with a standard disc and pad, you'll soon find that it's no longer the fluid that's the issue, it's immediately in the pad and disc. So one of the first things to do is brake fluid. We've tried different brake fluids throughout the course of the year. We tried the Red Line and also the ATE. We've now got this to try as well, so we'll try this tomorrow on track. It's actually got a higher wet boiling point as well than both of the other two products as well, so it'd be good to see how they get on. Obviously, got a new disc going on the car, so we're going to put a new set of pads on as well. So we're running the Dixel pads. We really like these pads, they last a considerable amount of time considering the abuse that they go through. They don't warp the discs, they also don't leave pad deposit on the disc as well. So it just makes sense to, full new brake system, and then we can sort of analyse the results from there.
Yeah, so those are the endurance pads that were run, right?
Yeah, it's the R23C compound. So yeah, really recommend these pads, run them on most of our cars.
Yeah, and basically endurance pad. How much endurance were actually race cars, GT3 cars at the Nürburgring 24-hour race can drive the full 24 hours with one set of pads?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how good they are.
So yeah, we'll get them on the car now. It's a pretty straightforward swap. Everything's bolt on, bolt off. So it shouldn't take us long at all. And then once we've done that, we'll take a look.
Since you weren't able to see how long it actually took because of the amazing editing work of our camera editor, Tom Stamp, maybe you can tell us how long it actually took you to install.
Yeah, so it probably took around 15 to 20 minutes per side. So it's a really quick installation. Like I said, everything's bolt on, bolt off. That's not including bleeding the brakes, but that's literally just a pad and disc change. But yeah, they're on now, so I'm excited to see how it's going to perform tomorrow.
Do you need any special tools, or can anyone basically do it in the garage with a basic set of tools?
Just wheel wrench, Allen keys, a pry bar to push the piston back, and And that's it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Another important thing, we cannot, or actually no one can just go on the track and instantly start driving them. You need to brake them. And
Yeah, so we'll do that on the way to the track tomorrow, on the way to Zolder.
What's the basic technique, if you can explain it to people?
I think everyone has their own technique as well as manufacturers. But my sort of like recommended technique would be to bring them in slowly, so from maybe 100 kilometers an hour down to like 30 kilometers an hour without stopping, quite gently, and then build it up and build it up, build it up. So pressure and speed, up to about 20 stops in total. Once you've done that, I think it's fair to say it's good to go on track. And then obviously once you do go on track, don't just go flying into the first corner first time. You know, bring it in for the first 2 to 3 laps and then just go from there basically. But yeah, it's important not to go out and just smash the brakes straight away, because that's when you end up with warped discs and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Well, very much excited to see how they perform on the track. So enough talking, let's get some driving. We have arrived at the Sky Limit Events track day on the circuit Zolder, which today will be the proving ground for the StopTech brake discs. And before you're gonna say, well, it's raining, it's actually even snowing because the temperature is close to 0. So how is that gonna, well, benefit your test? Because you want to prove that those brakes can withstand high temperatures and thereby not crack. But actually, it's even beneficial to our test because it's even more extreme.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, if you actually look at the temperature range the discs go up and down, when you have a cold ambient temperature like this, you actually get a more extreme fluctuation, and that sort of provokes disc cracking. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes with that.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cold outside, so let's get in the car,
yeah, let's
warm
go.
ourselves up and warm up the brake discs and see how they perform. Radio, and we are on the track. Like I told you already before, we already did the bedding in the brakes on the way to the track, so that should be fine. At least I hope so. I hope you did a good job.
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, the first hard braking point, and I think you did a pretty good job.
Yeah, we'll get for it. Try and get a run down the straight into the braking zone. So brake at 100 metres.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good pedal feel. Obviously, a bit early to say about brake fade, but I don't think there's a chance of that today. But yeah, really nice brake feel, nice and consistent through the range. Obviously no noise as you'd expect on track. Head down to the second chicane. Again, very nice. ABS cuts in a little bit early, but I mean it is wet today, so I suppose that's such a bad thing.
No, not at all. We are by now already on our 5th lap, and you can see we can outbrake race cars on the track. And I just had a quick look when we were still in the pits. They were running rain slicks, so I can say that those brakes definitely perform. That's like without a doubt. We outbrake everything what there is here out on the track. But for us, the most important bit, however, today is to find out if those brakes are going to last.
we're heading down into the heaviest braking zone on the track for the 6th time now. We haven't had any brake fade so far. Again, brake at the 100 metres, again absolutely fine. No brake fade whatsoever. Brake pedal feels exactly as it did the first time. As does the performance. I mean, yeah, that speaks for itself really.
So we are back in our garage, and a quick summary of what just happened. We drove over 6 hours, close to 500 kilometers in total, full high performance driving. You could have seen we drove literally from the morning till the night almost, or till the evening. Like I told you earlier, during the 24-hour race of Nürburgring, you can drive the complete race on a one set of brake pads. However, Zolder, the track that we used yesterday for our performance test, is so brake demanding that you generate so much heat that actually sometimes you even need to replace wheel bearings. And this is something we could witness yesterday. Brakes got so hot. I mean, okay, when you see it on a GT3 car, it's okay, but on the Polo, we all were like, what the hell is happening here? So we could see that it was really hard on the brakes. However, could you feel anything regarding performance? Was it getting less?
Not at all. I mean, as you saw, like the car drove all day, literally bedded the brakes in the morning, drove the whole way there, did the first session in the morning. Absolutely no issues as you'd expect, first session out. And then, yeah, they just performed exactly as they had done at the start of the day throughout the entire day. So like you say, 500 kilometers on track, not a single issue at all, whether it was like brake fluid, brake pads, brake discs, they just kept on going all day. I think as well, like it's good to note that this car doesn't have any brake cooling modifications or anything, it's totally stock.
Absolutely, you can have a look.
So it's absolutely stock in terms of that. And obviously the ambient temperature was very low. So you're getting the large dips and rises or the fluctuation I should say, in the temperature of the brake disc. But yeah, absolutely fine. I mean, if you look at the brake disc itself, obviously a little bit of scoring as you'd expect because of the high temperature. You run your finger across, there's absolutely no sort of deviation in the material itself. There's no lip at all on the outside, and the pads themselves have only worn around maybe half a millimetre. I took a quick measurement before and after, about half a millimetre of wear. I mean, you can see how hot the brake caliper itself's got because the paint's burnt. You know, if you look at the inside of the caliper here,
it used to be red.
It used to be red, and you can see where it's actually burnt here. So that just gives you a measure of quite how hot they got on track.
Yeah, absolutely. We were out there on the track with all kinds of cars. You could have seen for yourself, race cars, race-bred BMWs, but we were actually out-braking them with just a Volkswagen Polo race car and almost stock car. So you could actually say that the brake upgrade is probably the best value.
Well, that's it, because it gives you one of the most important things. It gives you the confidence every time on the brakes, so you know what you're going to get every time you get to the next corner. There's no sort of unknown, and yeah, that sort of allows you to push until you get to that limit. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take them off. Let's take a closer look how they are on the back, so just our audience can see for themselves that it's completely fine. So after taking off the brake disc, we can also inspect the back side of it. And again, this is also looks completely fine to me. What would you say as a...
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no signs of any cracking whatsoever. You can see where the grooves have done their job to clean the pad materials. It's gone around the car. So yeah, I mean, what more can you say other than the fact that everything looks good?
The only thing that I can say, well, since you are also satisfied with them as a technician within our company, I think we're definitely going to outfit all of our cars with those brakes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I must say it's been an amazing experience, especially if you, again, consider the fact that you don't get to drive all the time, constantly from the morning till the evening, non-stop, without experiencing any brake fading or any other brake relating issues. So if you want to get one of those brake discs, again, huge shout out to Advanced Performance Parts for supplying them to us. And if you're still not convinced, make sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned, because like I told you earlier, we're gonna outfit every single car that we have. And if you're thinking, oh, the Polo is just a light car, well, let's see how those brake discs are going to perform in the future on a heavy car such an M4. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time.
Absolutely, thank you.